don't meet on Tuesday.
I thought that's...
Yeah, here, okay, look, let's look at the assignment sheet. Let's be clear. Let's be clear here. Assignment sheet. Look, I already have the practice test on already.
Yeah.
Okay, look. Now, tonight you have homework from the book. Monday is the practice test, but I'm not going to see you on Tuesday, and the test is Wednesday already. So, I don't have to give you a practice test. I'm choosing to give you a practice test. There's all the solutions written there, and since we're not going to have class, we're going to have after school extra help on Tuesday. Now, that's totally optional. I'm going to video it, so if you don't want to come, you can just watch the video later. Right? If you have something. That's okay. If no one comes, I'll just video myself, I'll just talk to myself. But I give you the complete solutions, right? You guys are just lucky. How many teachers give practice tests? One.
Missing your lunch break?
Yeah, that one. I think that's from period 7. Oh, my shoulder. Don't tell me I'm getting shoulder problems. Oh! I thought you guys were going to write up the questions.
Oh.
I guess not. What are we doing now? 8.1.
600. Wait, you gave us even.
I know I did. Who put my chalk up here?
So, like, are you going to give us an answer?
Yeah, I'm too distraught to even think that. And look, they're going to have chalk in it.
So can we do all the even?
I can't concentrate. Okay, 8.1 and 8.2, was that last night's homework?
Yeah.
Okay, which ones are we doing?
All the evens?
Yeah, don't tell us what.
14, 16, 18, 20.
Okay, wait, I didn't hear that. What?
14, 16,
20, 22,
18,
18.
46, 34.
That better be real.
24.
Okay, what about 8.2?
24. No, from
Okay, what about 8.2?
Oh, number 25.
35.
29.
Oh gosh.
You broke it.
All of the above.
Okay, good thing today's lecture is easy. Okay, 8.1. Where's 8.1?
612.
612. Okay, what's the first number there? Okay, 14.
41.
Where's 14? Are you serious? You're just asking this because it's even. How about punching it on the calculator? You ever thought of that? Okay, when you see this, what are you thinking in your head? Cosine of what angle is 1? And the answer has to be in the range. No. Cosine of what angle is 1?
360, 0.
No, yeah, but there's only one that's in the range.
0.
0.
8.
Oh.
And 180 is not, because 180 would be negative 1, right? Okay. Number 16. Cosine inverse negative 1. Okay, so that means, what does this mean? Cosine of what angle is negative 1? But the answer has to be in the range.
Can you write the ranges on the board?
You mean the one I wrote yesterday? Okay, so you got 0 to pi, and then you got negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, correct?
Okay.
Okay, which ones is this one? The ones that have a
Cosine
odd number of
secant,
c's.
cotangent.
So cosine inverse, secant inverse, cotan inverse. And the other three are that one. What are the other three?
Cotangent.
Sine inverse,
Tangent.
Cosine.
cosecant inverse, tan inverse. If you don't know the range, it's over. Okay, cosine of what angle is negative 1? And the answer gotta be, here's cosine
180.
inverse, gotta be in this range.
180.
Okay, 180 if you're doing degrees, look, I'm gonna do radians.
Pi.
Wait, what's the directions? Well, it just says find the exact value, so if you gave 180 degrees, that would be correct. Okay, 18. 18 is tan inverse negative 1. We did this on the board yesterday. So what do you think in your head? Tangent of what angle is negative 1? Okay, so here, this is what you should be thinking. Where is tangent negative 1? Either there or there. But you gotta pick the angle that's in the range. Okay, so negative pi over 4 is correct. If your answer is not in the range, that's not the answer. You guys understand? The answer has to be in the range. Okay, how come I assigned so many even ones?
Not sure.
20. Tan inverse root. Oh, come on! Tan inverse root 3 over 3. When this number is positive, you know the angle will be first quadrant. Right? So if I give you a positive thing here, this is like child's play. Tangent of what angle is root 3 over 3? Come on. Pi over 6. See, there's no thinking in that. There's no thinking. 22. What's 22? Sine inverse negative root 3 over 2. See, when the argument is negative, that's when you got to think about the range. Because if it's positive, you just give the first quadrant angle every time. Okay, so what are you thinking in your head? Sine of what angle is negative root 3 over 2? So you should be thinking it's either there or there.
4 pi over.
But you got, that's 4 pi over 3, that's 5 pi over 3. But it has to be in this range. Negative pi over 3. So what you got to do is you got to take this one and subtract 2 pi from it to put it in the range. You guys understand? If your answer is not in the range, it's wrong. It's as simple as that. Okay, 24. Sine inverse negative root 2 over 2. Okay, so what are you thinking in your head? Sine of what angle is negative root 2 over 2, but the answer got to be in that range. So where is sine negative root 2 over 2? It's either there or there. So this is 5 pi over 4. This is 7 pi over 4. Neither of them is in the range, so what do? You subtract 2 pi from this one. And you get? Negative pi over 4. Don't worry on the test. I think I only gave you 3 problems where this is negative. The rest, they're all positive. I'm trying to make it easy for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Well, you still got to know, otherwise minus 4, right? You don't want to get minus 4. 3 times is minus 12. 88 is a darn good score?
No.
It's okay.
Well, maybe for some of us, right? But then you got to make sure everything else is right. That's another problem. Okay, 8.2. 25. Where's, okay, 25. Where's 25? Where's 25? 25. 10. Okay, I showed you guys how to do this yesterday. Now remember, inverse trig functions are angle measurements. That's what they are. They're angles. Okay? This is an angle, so don't pay attention to the tan. Okay, so when you see this angle, what are you thinking? Sine of what angle is 1/3? Now, is 1/3 a number I'm supposed to know? No, so what do? You draw the triangle, okay? Sine of what angle is 1/3? Where do I put the 1 and the 3? What is sine? Opposite over hypotenuse. So you gotta know SOHCAHTOA. And then you use the Pythagorean theorem, 2 root 2, I'm just gonna do this quickly. And then once you draw the triangle, what is the tangent of the angle that I just drew here? What is tangent? Opposite over adjacent, and you can just leave your answer like that, that's fine. Okay, 33. Now tonight's homework, you're gonna do the same thing now, except you gotta apply identities to it. What? Okay, 33. Okay, let me draw this. Secant of sine inverse 2 root 5 over 5. Now, is 2 root 5 over 5 a number I'm supposed to know for sine? No, so we gotta draw the triangle. So this is an angle. How do I draw it? Sine means what? Opposite over hypotenuse, right? SOHCAHTOA. So using the Pythagorean theorem, that would be 25 minus 20, so this would be root 5, correct? You guys can use the Pythagorean. Okay, so what is the secant of this angle that I just drew? Well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so the secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, so it's going to be 5 over root 5, which simplifies to root 5, correct?
Yes.
Okay, 35. But that's okay, simplifying, you know, 5 over root 5, just write that on your paper. Don't worry about simplifying, because simplifying is only 1 point, right? You gotta worry about getting the big points. Okay, 35. Sine inverse of cosine 3 pi over 4. Okay, look. Is that a number I know how to compute? Cosine, do what's in the parentheses first. Cosine 3 pi over 4, that's a number I'm supposed to know. Okay, here, let's draw the unit circle. Here's 3 pi over 4. What's cosine of that? Negative root 2 over 2. Okay, now, sine inverse, negative root 2 over 2. So what are you thinking in your head? Sine what angle is negative root 2 over 2, but the answer gotta be in the range. I think we just did it right here. Negative pi over 4 is the So just do what's in the parentheses first. If it looks strange, just do what you don't know. Oh, come 29 now, 29. Now we gotta go backwards. 29. Cotangent of sine inverse negative root 2 over 3. Okay, is that a number I'm supposed to know for sine? No, root 2 over 3. That's not, root 3 over 2 is, but not root 2 over 3. So what do? You draw the triangle. This is an angle measurement. You can punch this in on your calculator. It's going to give you an angle measurement. But we draw the picture. However, since this argument is negative, see, if this argument is positive, it's a first quadrant angle. You don't have to worry about anything. But when it's negative, you have to draw the angle in the proper quadrant. What quadrant am I drawing it in? If this is negative. Because look at the range. Okay, look. Okay, very good. It's 4. It's over here. Because look, from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, that's going to cover the first and the fourth quadrant. Sine is positive here and it's negative there. So if this argument is negative, then we're talking about a fourth quadrant angle. So you have to draw it in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so what is sine? Opposite over hypotenuse, so that's negative, and then using the Pythagorean theorem, this would be root 7, correct?
Yeah.
You gotta have that negative sign there. Okay, now, once you finish that, what's the cotangent of this angle that I just drew? Well, tangent is opposite over adjacent, so what's cotangent? Adjacent over opposite. So adjacent over opposite, so the answer is negative root 7 over root 2. Yeah, that's good enough. You can even answer like that. You guys get it? You gotta draw. So the problem is significantly harder when this thing is negative, because then you gotta think. If it's positive, it's always first quadrant, no need to worry. But when it's negative, it's significantly harder. Okay, I want to do the lecture in 5 minutes, so you guys can have like kind of a long time for the quiz. Although the quiz should only take like 10 minutes, right?
No.
It should. It kind of does. Okay, tonight's homework is pretty much the same as last night's homework, except you're going to apply identities to it. What do you mean? Well, how did I run out of chocolate here? There it is! I don't want that piece.
In the bathroom.
Thank you. Oh, very considerate. Are you saying I'm old and can't bend down? Is that it?
Oh, is
Yeah.
that third away?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is the kind of problems you're going to see tonight. Okay, what is the cosine of tan inverse 3/4 plus sine inverse 5/13? What? Like last night, you just had that, right? How did you do that last night? Draw the triangle, right? Yeah, but now, I got 2 angles in Mr. Park. Yeah, exactly right. This is an angle measurement, and this is an angle measurement. So why don't we call this one alpha, and that one beta? So basically, what do I have? Cosine alpha plus beta.
Somebody.
Oh, do we have an identity for that? What do you mean no? This is easy. We just memorize it and we just regurgitate. Do not distribute the cosine. Okay? If you distribute the cosine, that's a fatal error. In fact, I'm going to get so mad I'm going to take off triple. If the problem is worth 4 points, I'm going to take off 12 if you distribute. There's an identity. So what's the identity for cosine alpha plus beta? Cosine alpha, cosine beta, plus or minus? Very good. Minus sine alpha, sine beta. Okay, now what do I do there, Mr. Park? Well, you write down values for each one. How do I do that? You draw the triangle. Are these numbers I'm supposed to know for tan inverse? Like, is that a number? No, both of these are not. So you draw triangles for both of them. So this means the tangent of what angle is 3/4? So where do I put the 3 and the 4? What is tangent? Opposite over adjacent, and then you use the Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, that angle is tan inverse 3/4, because the tangent of it is 3/4. How do I draw this angle? This is like last night's homework. And I tried to pick problems where it's positive. So, because on the test, most of them are just going to be positive. So, the sine of this angle has to be 5/13. So what is sine? Opposite over hypotenuse, and then you use the Pythagorean theorem. See how I like to use Pythagorean triples again? And then all you have to do is fill it in. Okay, so looking at my triangles, what is cosine alpha? Here's alpha. What is cosine of this angle? Adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine beta. Here's beta. What's the cosine of it? Adjacent over hypotenuse. What is sine of this angle? Opposite over hypotenuse. And then finally the last one. What is the sine of this angle? Opposite over hypotenuse. So what do we got? We got 48 minus 15 all over 65. So once you get to this step, the most you can lose is 1.3. Okay? So what does that come out to? 33 over 65. So you guys understand? Draw. So it's the same thing as last night's homework, except you're just using identities for it. So yes, you have to, I told you have to know your identities. Okay, 2 more examples and we're done. Sine, no, let's do cosine of 2 tan inverse, how about 4/5? Why didn't I just use regular parentheses there? Now, this is an angle measurement. Is that a number I'm supposed to know for tangent? See, like, if it was like tan inverse 1 or tan inverse radical 3, I would know what that angle is. But 4/5, is that an angle I know? No, so what do? You draw the triangle. The tangent of what angle is 4/5? Where do I put the 4 and the 5? What is tangent? Opposite over adjacent, using the Pythagorean theorem. You know, every year, there's always students go like this. Oh yeah, 3, 4, 5. Some of you are going, yeah, that's right. How can the hypotenuse be the smallest side? If you use the Pythagorean theorem, 25 plus 16 is 41. 3, 4, 5. So every single year, this is what students do. They go, oh, I get it, Mr. Park. The cosine of this angle is what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. This is what they do. And they go, oh, I see a times 2, so I got to times it by 2. If anybody does that, I'm going to take off 4 points.
That's good.
If the problem, whatever. If the problem is worth 4 points, I'm going to take off 16. You can't do that. You got to use identities. This is cosine of 2 times this angle. Cosine, so basically cosine 2 theta. Okay, now cosine 2 theta has 3 identities. Which one am I going to use? You can use any one of the 3. It doesn't
One
matter.
with cosine.
My favorite is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. But you can use whichever ones you want. I like this one. Okay, so all you have to do is look at the picture now. What is cosine theta? Quick. Adjacent over hypotenuse. And then square means you square it, right? What is sine theta? Opposite over hypotenuse. And then you square it. So now you just do the so once you get here already, you got all the points except 1. So 25 over 41 minus 16 over 41. Final answer is 9 over 41. Beautiful. And some of you are not boxing your answers. Okay, so We got sum and difference identities. We got double angle identities. What am I missing here? Half angle identity. Let's do tangent then. Tangent of 1/2. How about sine inverse? Give me a number.
3.
3. Come on.
Root 3 over 2.
No, that's too easy.
Root 5 over 6.
Okay, I like that. There you go. Now, is root 5 over 6 a number I'm supposed to know? So, let's call this theta, because it's an angle. Remember, inverse trig functions are angle measurement. I don't know this one, Mr. Park. I better draw a picture. So sine, what does sine mean? Opposite over hypotenuse, which is 6. So using the Pythagorean theorem, this is going to be radical 31. Good job, John. See, that's why you can't just make up any number, because it's going to get ugly stuff. Now, if anybody does this on the test, remember, I'm going to take off fipple. Oh, tangent. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. And then I see a half there, so I'm going to times it by half. If anybody does that, I take off sixfold. You have to use identities. This is tangent of 1/2 theta. This is like tangent theta over 2. Oh, Mr. Park, that's the one that got 3. Exactly. And then remember which one I keep telling you guys to use? Okay, thank you. 1 minus cosine over sine. Don't use the one with the radical. It just makes life harder. So, tonight's homework, this is what you do. You write down the identity, you draw the triangles, and you just fill in the values. It's not difficult. So, look at this picture. What is cosine theta? Adjacent over hypotenuse. What is sine theta? Look at the picture. Opposite over hypotenuse. So once you do that, I got all the points except one. All I have to do is simplify. What's the fastest way to simplify this? Multiply top and bottom by?
LCG.
Okay, because they're on it. So your final answer going to be 6 minus root 31 over root 5. I will accept that. Oh, look how ugly it is because Chun picked root 5 over 6. That's why. What?
So what is the
I don't think I've ever heard that number in my life. Root 5 over 6.
Root 7 over 8.
Root 7. Would that come out nice? 7 minus, no, then you would have a root 57. That wouldn't be nice either.
Root 9 over 10.
Okay, so this is it.